There is a secret army working right now, billions of them, creating liquid gold.
Humans have been obsessed with this substance for 8,000 years. It never spoils.
This isn't backyard farming. This is modern industry working with nature's biological supercomputer.
We have turned nature's defenders into the most productive livestock on Earth.
But a single mistake at any step can destroy an entire season's harvest worth millions.
It all starts here. A frame filled with hundreds of tiny white larvae.
Each one is barely the size of a grain of rice, but one will become royalty.
The queen. She can lay up to 2,000 eggs a day for 5 years straight.
That is over 3 million eggs in her lifetime. She is the engine of the colony.
If her genetics are weak, the entire colony collapses. So we don't leave it to chance. We select larvae only from colonies with high production and disease resistance.
Using a grafting tool, a beekeeper gently lifts a single larva with a steady hand.
It is transferred into a special queen cell, built specifically for royalty.
Nurse bees immediately accept the chosen one and begin the feeding process.
They feed it royal jelly. This thick, creamy substance is pure protein and vitamins.
This food alone decides destiny. It triggers the biological switch to create a queen.
Same DNA, different meal. Workers eat pollen, but the queen eats only jelly.
The result is a larger body and fully functional reproductive organs.
After 12 days, she emerges. She is not the ruler, but the servant of the hive.
The new queens are moved to mating hives to take their maiden flight.
She mates in midair, storing enough genetic material to last her entire life.
Once mated, she returns to begin her life's work, laying thousands of eggs daily.
Now, the operation moves to the fields. This is where the magic happens.
We are talking about apiaries with 10,000 hives, managing millions of workers.
Hives are strategically placed near massive flower sources like alfalfa and clover.
Each hive houses 60,000 bees. During peak bloom, everyone has a job.
A single forager bee visits up to 5,000 flowers in just one day.
They fly up to 3 miles, navigating by the sun and magnetic fields.
When they find a rich nectar source, they don't keep it a secret.
They return and perform the Waggle dance. It's a precise GPS coordinate system.
The angle and duration of the dance tell the others exactly where to fly. Information spreads instantly. The army deploys to harvest the sweetness.
Efficient, relentless, and vital. This is the miracle of modern honey production. Back at the hive, the foragers perform the Waggle dance. It is a biological GPS system.
The angle of the dance relative to the sun tells other bees exactly which direction to fly.
The duration of the waggle indicates the distance. It is coded information in movement.
Upon arrival, nectar is passed mouth to mouth. This transfer adds crucial enzymes to the mix.
An enzyme called invertase breaks down complex sugars into simple glucose and fructose.
They spread this liquid across the honeycomb cells to increase surface area for evaporation.
Then, thousands of bees beat their wings at 200 times per second to create airflow.
They maintain a constant 95 degrees Fahrenheit, turning the hive into a dehydration machine.
The goal is to reduce water content from 80% down to a critical 18%. Once it hits 18%, the bees cap the cell with wax. This is nature's seal of approval.
That wax cap is the signal for the beekeeper the honey is now ripe and ready for harvest.
Harvest day begins with the smoker. It burns pine needles to create cool, thick smoke.
The smoke masks the bees' alarm pheromones. It disrupts their communication network.
Thinking there is a fire, the bees instinctively gorge on honey to prepare for evacuation.
With full stomachs, they cannot bend their abdomens to sting. It's a temporary chemical hack.
Frames are glued shut with propolis, a sticky resin bees collect from trees. The beekeeper must pry them apart carefully. Every movement is slow and deliberate.
Inspection is key. We are looking for frames that are fully capped with golden wax.
If the honey is uncapped and wet, it will ferment. These frames must be left behind.
Qualified frames are gently brushed. We want the honey, not the bees.
A single frame can weigh up to 10 pounds. It is heavy, liquid gold.
Multiply that by thousands of hives. A professional crew moves tons of product in a day.
But speed isn't the only concern. There is a dark enemy lurking in the hives.
Varroa mites, tiny parasites that feed on bee blood and transmit deadly viruses.
An untreated infestation can kill a colony in weeks. Constant vigilance is required.
But even worse is American Foulbrood, a bacterial disease that turns larvae into goo.
It is highly contagious and incurable. It is the beekeeper's worst nightmare.
The only solution is brutal. Total destruction by fire.
The hive, the frames, and the bees must be burned to ash. One contaminated hive can trigger a domino effect, wiping out an entire operation.
The financial loss is devastating, but necessary to save the rest of the farm.
Every frame that leaves the field is a survivor of nature's brutal gauntlet.
Now, the survivors head to the processing facility. The industrial phase begins.
This is where nature meets engineering. The raw harvest arrives at a massive processing facility.
Stainless steel equipment stretches across the room. The air smells sweet, almost overwhelming.
The first station is the automated uncapping machine. Precision blades prepare the frames for extraction.
Heated vibrating blades slice off the wax caps. Temperature control here is absolutely critical.
Too hot, and you ruin the honey. Too cold, and the wax tears instead of cutting cleanly.
The removed wax isn't waste. It is refined and sold for candles, cosmetics, and pharmaceuticals.
The uncapped frames move to the star of the show, the massive centrifugal extractor. It spins the frames. Centrifugal force pushes the honey out of the cells and against the drum walls. The speed is calculated. Too fast breaks the comb. Too slow leaves money on the table. Golden liquid drains to the bottom basin, pumped through pipes to the next stage. Raw honey looks cloudy. It is full of wax bits, pollen, and air bubbles that need removal. First, it passes through coarse strainers to catch large chunks of wax and propolis. To filter it further, we must gently warm it. This reduces viscosity so it flows freely.
But we tread a fine line. If honey exceeds 115 degrees, it starts to die.
High heat destroys diastase, the key enzyme that gives honey its antibacterial properties. Filtered and warmed perfectly, the honey transforms from murky to crystal clear liquid gold. It moves to holding tanks. These aren't just buckets. Some hold 50,000 gallons at once. The honey rests here for days. This allows microscopic air bubbles to rise to the surface. The foam is skimmed off, leaving behind a product that is uniform, dense, and perfect.
Achieving this consistency is a science. But the industry faces a massive modern problem: fraud. Honey is one of the most adulterated food products on the entire planet.
Unethical suppliers cut real honey with cheap corn or rice syrup to increase profits.
To the naked eye and tongue, they look the same. But chemically, they are lies.
So legitimate producers now test every single batch using advanced forensic technology.
The gold standard is nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy. It sees what humans can't. It analyzes the molecular structure, creating a unique chemical fingerprint of the sample.
We check sugar ratios and trace minerals. If the profile doesn't match nature, it is rejected.
We also test for pollen content. Real honey contains pollen from the specific flowers visited. Ultrafiltration that removes all pollen is often a sign that the origin is being hidden. Only when it passes this gauntlet of tests is it certified as pure, authentic honey. Now, the approved liquid gold rushes to the bottling line. Speed is essential. Precision nozzles fill jars to the exact gram. No drips, no waste, just perfection. The jars are sealed, locking in the freshness that began in a flower field miles away.
This digital fingerprint is the ultimate truth test. NMR technology detects any trace of corn or rice syrup fraud.
If the chemical profile doesn't match nature perfectly, the entire batch is rejected instantly.
We verify pollen counts and trace minerals. Only 100% authentic, pure honey makes it past this station.
Once approved, the liquid gold heads to the high-speed bottling line, moving at 120 jars per minute. Volumetric nozzles fill each jar with gram-perfect precision. No waste, no mess, just efficiency. Automatic cappers seal the freshness instantly. The torque is calibrated so it is tight but openable. High-speed printers apply the brand labels and nutritional facts in a blur of motion.
Crucially, a unique batch code is printed. This number tracks the honey back to the exact harvest day.
Robotic arms palletize the cases. This traceability ensures safety from the factory floor to your pantry.
Pallets are moved to climate-controlled storage, ready to be shipped to supermarkets worldwide. But look closely at the shelf. Not all honey is created equal. The color and flavor depend on the flower.
Clover honey is light and mild. Buckwheat is dark and robust. Each has a unique terroir.
Rare varieties like Manuka from New Zealand contain medicinal property and sell for premium prices.
To get these specific flavors, we practice migratory beekeeping. We bring the bees to the bloom.
Semi-trucks loaded with thousands of hives travel across the country like a nomadic agricultural army.
They follow the seasons. From almonds in California to clover in the Dakotas to oranges in Florida.
Transport happens at night when the bees are inside the hive. It is a logistical masterpiece.
Industrial forklifts load 10,000 hives. Speed is essential to minimize stress on the colonies.
The load must be secure. A single accident could release millions of confused bees on the highway.
Timing is everything. Arrive too late, and the nectar flow is over. We chase the peak bloom.
The bees get to work immediately in their new home, gathering that specific monofloral nectar.
This jar represents an extraordinary chain of events. It started with one queen and a diet of royal jelly.
It continued with an army of workers flying millions of miles to gather tiny droplets of energy.
It relied on precision engineering to extract, filter, and preserve the natural enzymes.
And it required advanced science to guarantee purity and safety for the consumer.
All so you can enjoy this simple pleasure. It is more than just a sweetener. It is one of the only foods that never spoils, created by nature's most efficient society.
Honey is a 6,000-year-old partnership between humans and insects.
So the next time you open a jar, remember the millions of miles flown to fill it.
From the flower to the hive, through the factory, and finally to your table.
This is the miracle of modern honey production. Nature and industry in perfect harmony. Thanks for watching The Journey of Honey. Stay tuned for more factory secrets.
But the honey is actually just the sweet bonus. The real value lies out here in the fields.
Pollination. 1 out of every 3 bites of food we eat depends on these tireless workers.
From almonds to berries, they power a global agricultural economy worth billions of dollars.
They are the invisible engine of our food security, carrying life from blossom to blossom.
Without them, our plates would be empty, and our world would be colorless.
Back at the hive, the superorganism continues its relentless cycle of renewal.
It is a society of perfect cooperation, where the individual matters less than the colony.
New life emerges every second, ready to take up the mantle of work.
From a tiny, fragile larva to an aerodynamic aviator, the transformation is miraculous. Generations of sisters caring for one another, driven by an ancient, encoded wisdom.
And standing watch are the beekeepers, stewards of this ancient partnership.
Their work is demanding, seasonal, and vital for the survival of the species.
They protect the hives from disease, weather, and pests, ensuring the cycle continues.
It is agriculture, but it is also conservation on a massive industrial scale.
The result of all this labor? This. Liquid sunshine captured in a bottle.
Pure, untouched, and chemically perfect. A food that never spoils.
Modern engineering allows us to harvest it without harming the delicate balance of the hive.
Sealed for freshness, ready to travel from the factory to your kitchen table.
When you see these jars, you are looking at millions of miles of flight.
You are looking at the specific flavor of a landscape, captured in a single season.
It is biology and engineering working in perfect harmony.
It's proof that when we work with nature instead of against it, incredible things happen.
So the next time you open that jar, take a moment to remember. You are tasting the dedicated work of thousands of bees and the humans who care for them.
This is the miracle of modern honey production.
Efficient, sustainable, and incredibly sweet.
From the flower to the factory, the journey is complete.
Nature's little engineers, fueling our world one drop at a time.
A timeless process, perfected for the modern age. Golden energy, preserved for generations. The work never stops, and neither does the wonder.
Thanks for watching the journey of honey.
Stay tuned for more secrets from the factory floor.